Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cox Connections. Brad Grundmeyer, Director of Public Government Affairs for Cox, Louisiana. Thank you so much for tuning into our show. In this segment, we're going to talk about an amazing part of the greater New Orleans area. It's called the Bayou District. It's fantastic. It is a former site of the old St. Bernard housing development there in the 7th Ward, and really what they've been able to do to transform really what was, really not necessarily the most attractive part of the greater New Orleans area. And to see what it's become today is just an incredible legacy, more so a credit to the great folks that are working on that. Happy to be joined by Gerry Barousse, who's the chairman of the board for Bayou District Foundation, as well as the COO of ACME Oyster House, and greatly involved with the foundation, Mr. Lucien Gunter. Thank you both for coming by.
Thanks, Brad.
Good to see you. Lou, good to see you, sir, as well.
Appreciate it.
Gerry, tell me a little bit about a little bit of background, if you wouldn't mind, about Bayou District, how it became about, what year did the transformation begin?
Well, this is all really in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Mike Rodrigue, the owner of ACME, and I and Gary Solomon were invited by good friends of ours in Atlanta that saw the devastation, were interested in how they could help New Orleans in the rebirth and the rehabilitation of the city, and asked us up to see the East Lake development in Atlanta, which was a holistic redevelopment of a public housing complex in Atlanta, adjacent to golf course, and in their facility they built back a mixed income community together with schools as a center of the community, recreational amenities, really with the objective of their visionary Tom Cousins of changing the cycle of poverty in a neighborhood. And what they were able to do there at East Lake, and being able to see what happened in the surrounding community, the overall impact on not just a neighborhood, but a much broader reach was fantastic. And from that first visit, Mike and Gary and I got on a plane coming back and said, if we could do this in New Orleans, it really could be a game changer.
How exciting that must have been to see what could be, to see where we are, as we all know where we were.
Right.
All of us were doing gut checks, but to really see that area and to see what it could be, that must have been very exciting, more so to come back and to express that vision. How difficult was that?
Well, it was difficult because we saw what could be done.
Yeah.
But we also knew that we were in a very challenging time.
Right.
And being able to take on a task like that, one, revisioning it and trying to apply that model in New Orleans, trying to determine where it could best be located and how it could be done with all the various entities that had to be partnered with us, the Housing Authority, city and state agencies, schools,
all these partners.
Yeah. And we were all people that were rebuilding businesses and looking at the same time to trying to have an impact on the recovery of New Orleans and ensuring that this was a place that we wanted to be long-term, as well as we wanted to be able to raise our kids.
Lucien, what was your thoughts as well to this? Did you feel this could even get some wind under its wings and really come to fruition? I mean, what were your thoughts?
I got to tell you, coming out of Katrina and all the doubt and uncertainty about, where we're going to go. I mean, ACME is a 100-year-old plus, organization, right. Devastated, by Katrina, much like everyone else in the city was.
Absolutely.
So to have Mike Rodrigue come and say, oh, by the way, we've got a new project. It was one of the most inspiring moments for me, because in the wake of trying to figure out how do we get everything back to status quo, here he's taking his time along with Gerry and Gary and the group to say, outside of just what we're doing, here is something that's so much more important to the city and to where ultimately we need to be as a society. So to be inspired by the project and to see the effort that was being put forth, and to be able to tell the story to our staff about what we were doing outside of just getting our doors back open, was an inspiration to them as well.
We actually have some pictures. Let's tell everybody what we're seeing here, if you don't mind, Gerry, because this is really just amazing. What we're looking at is the new Columbia City residence, and this is at Bayou District.
This is actually a photograph during the construction, initial phases of construction. So you're just seeing as we began the construction process in 2009, it was formerly an 18-block public housing complex. The first phase was a 10-block section of that we took on, completed construction in 2010, and that was 466 units that were built basically simultaneously. So that was a big first step, and the largest mixed income redevelopment phase that's been done in the country.
Yeah, I was about to say in U.S. history.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing I also noticed, and I remember hearing about, even St. Bernard had these conversations about how you took the carscape off the front and put it inside, allowing, for more of a pedestrian feel. It just was
it was very interesting.
Much more stylistically
the former
better.
public housing complex only had 2 through streets. It had a north-south and an east-west street.
Right.
And so we were able to reintroduce the street grid and move the front doors to the street so that you were able to have both secure parking on the interior, but also had really a neighborhood created where you had people interacting with each other on the street, on the sidewalk.
These aren't residents here, of course, but this is the president and the first lady. What was his impression?
Well, they were, I think they were really blown away. Michelle, the first lady, made numerous comments to us about the progress, and she wanted to be able to come back and see the impact of the schools and how those all ultimately would come to interplay with our overall development.
And it's been fantastic. Where we are today?
We've completed 515 residential units of mixed incomes. It's 1/3 public housing, 1/3 low income, 1/3 market rate. We have 170 units that'll be finished by the end of the year, which includes a 120-unit senior housing facility, which will be 62-year-old and older residents. Those will not be any health care other than just normal programming. But we'll have about 700 units on site. We're beginning construction on our early learning facility in the next couple of weeks. Actually had part of our closing this morning. And so we'll have a venue for 150 0 to 5-year-olds, because one of the things we learned really in the overall ability to change the cycle of poverty and impact low-income public housing families is being able to get children to kindergarten on grade.
Amen.
The majority of low-income children arrive 18 to 24 months behind, and as we think about how we rebuild the city and how we work on creating a qualified employment base, it's really growing our own. And you've got to start with kids that are qualified for kindergarten. And so that's something we really feel like is going to be a tremendous game changer for that neighborhood and for those families.
Lucien, I'm sure for you and the folks at ACME Oyster House, this partnership has really been, I would imagine, personally gratifying, but professionally, from management on down, just how you've been able to immerse yourself in the foundation and that community, but more so, and I will show some pictures in a little bit, in your efforts with the Zurich Classic and whatever to raise dollars to support. How has it been? How has it been for ACME in this partnership?
Well, the idea behind it is to make sure that it's not just something that the staff is hearing about, but they're actually participating.
Right.
And, they get the big win. Downtown in the French Quarter location, we have a program that we call Round It Up. So, when a guest comes in and they're handed their check, let's say their bill is $26.20. They have the option to round it up to $27, $30. And then what we do is the first $50,000 in change we collect, we match as a company. So the servers are participating.
And that adds up.
Yes. Oh, look, it makes perfect sense, if you don't mind that old pun.
Love it. Love it.
Then, of course, we have the Zurich Classic. So
and as we see here, it's a great event. Well, you can't get better than this.
A week of setup, for us, and then a week into the event. As you can see, the facilities there, the revenues, that are driven by the packages that are sold for entry into the tent, create the revenues that flow through to Bayou District and benefit the foundation as well as for kids. So, that kind of interaction between management and hourly employees with such a great organization, is something that, for me, it makes life real easy. Yeah.
And what a nice part about it too, and I was just reading this, when we talk about everything that's going on in New Orleans, violent crime, etc., you're seeing a decrease, correct?
Yeah, the former St. Bernard Public Housing Complex had 680 plus felonies in the 4 years prior to Katrina and 42 murders in that neighborhood. And in the post-Katrina environment, in putting back Columbia Park, over the last 2 years, we've had 1 attempted felony in the neighborhood. So obviously the model of mixed income housing, being able to create a real sense of community and pride in place has paid dividends. We have the benefit of having a lot of first responders that have chosen to live in our community. We've got you know, we've got a lot of people that really value the opportunity they've been provided, and they've embraced it. And I think it's paid dividends socially, as well as being able to really provide a venue for these families to excel.
I know we're over on time, but I really have to ask because I think it's so important. What you guys have also done in regards to neighborhood-based education, you know, we talk about housing, et cetera, but education being the anchor for that community. You've had great results and a lot of investment in this. Tell me quickly about that.
Well, the overall model is an holistic model.
Yeah.
It's workforce housing, education, and recreation, but the educational component is really critical to the overall success of the model. We've created a cradle-to-college model, which starts with early education. We'll then move into K-8, which we'll be building on site and joining together with the YMCA to have recreational facilities that'll be proximate. And then McDonough 35 and the Orleans Parish School Board are building a new facility 2 blocks away.
$50 million at that?
That will be a $50 million plus facility.
I don't think I ever went to a $50 million school.
I don't know that many of us did. I don't know that many of us did.
So. My parents feel like they spent $50 million.
And they still are. Yeah. And the nice part about the investment in regards to the Learning Center, $20 million there. I mean, it's just hopping over there.
Well, it's a huge investment in education, but it's a necessary component, and I think it's really a tribute to the work that's been done, but it's also to being able to really identify great partners and being able to associate with them, from For Kids to ACME to all of our education and development partners.
And bottom line, it's a vote of confidence too, that people are feeling and knowing what you're doing is truly making a difference in changing people and changing communities that will probably be, and as it has been, the model to go forward with. So congratulations, both of you, for all the great work, Lucien, you guys do at ACME, and the passion y'all have for this area, which is significant, and Gerry, for you and the rest of the board at the foundation for all their passion to make a district to make a difference in the Bayou district. Greatly appreciated. It's been an honor to have you both here today. Lucien as well. Say hello to your dad for me.
I will.
Love that guy. All right, congratulations, everybody. Bayou District Foundation, if you're interested, we can actually quickly show you a website. Go to BayouDistrictFoundation.org or give them a call at their number, 504-272-0307. All right, so that wraps up this segment of Cox Connections. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.